Everyone thinks they understand human behavior. But the truth is, most of what we do isn't logical. It's patterns, instincts, and quirks hidden deep inside the brain. Scientists are still uncovering secrets that change how we see ourselves. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe, so you never miss the psychology facts that reveal how your mind actually works. Now let's begin. 1. Talking to yourself is a sign of higher focus, not madness. When you speak your thoughts out loud, your brain treats those words as commands rather than background noise. Athletes mutter plays to themselves. Surgeons whisper each step, and students repeat instructions because it sharpens concentration. Self-talk is your mind coaching itself in real time. It's less a flaw and more a hidden tool of mastery. 2. Messy handwriting often reveals a racing mind. The hand simply cannot keep up with the speed of thought, so words tumble out as scribbles. What looks chaotic on the page is usually the trace of rapid-fire ideas forming faster than ink can flow. These people aren't careless, they're overflowing. Messy writing is often the signature of creativity and quick thinking. 3. Negative words leave deeper marks than positive ones. From an evolutionary standpoint, spotting threats mattered more than noticing rewards. One harsh insult can echo in your mind for days, while 10 compliments may fade by morning. The brain stores pain more securely than praise. That's why criticism often sticks far longer than kindness. 4. Multitasking drains focus instead of saving time. Each time you switch from one task to another, your brain has to reset, losing precious energy. This mental reboot lowers sharpness to the level of someone who hasn't slept all night. The illusion is productivity, but the cost is clarity. True efficiency comes from depth, not division. 5. Doodling helps the brain remember more. When your hand sketches random shapes during a lecture or meeting, you're not distracted. You're anchoring attention. The small movement keeps your body busy, freeing your mind to absorb details. Studies prove doodlers recall more information than those who sit still. Scribbles are memory's secret ally. 6. A pounding heart can trick the brain into thinking it's love. Fear, excitement, or exercise all trigger the same physical reaction: adrenaline and a racing pulse. When someone attractive is nearby, your brain may mislabel the feeling as passion. That's why thrill rides or scary movies spark romance. Sometimes love is simply chemistry misinterpreted. 7. Mirroring body language is the body's confession of trust. When two people like each other, they subconsciously copy posture, gestures, even breathing rhythm. This silent mimicry builds instant rapport without words. It's your brain signaling connection. I feel safe with you. The body often reveals feelings long before the mouth admits them. 8. Quiet people are sharper observers than talkers. While others fill the air with words, they scan expressions, tones, and patterns in the room. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's a magnifying glass. They notice what most miss, from subtle gestures to hidden emotions. Stillness, for them, is perception. 9. Rejection activates the same pain pathways as injury. Being ignored or excluded doesn't just feel bad. Your brain registers it as real harm. Social wounds light up the same regions as physical bruises. That's why heartbreak can ache in the chest and loneliness can feel crushing. The brain treats isolation as danger. 10. Small lies smooth social life. On average, people lie once or twice a day, but usually with phrases like, "I'm fine," or "I'll be there soon." These aren't betrayals, they're fragile shields to avoid conflict or protect feelings. Honesty is noble, but bluntness isn't always kind. The little lie often serves as social glue. 11. Chewing gum sharpens focus and memory. The rhythmic act of chewing increases blood flow to the brain and boosts alertness. That's why students often chew during exams, and why soldiers used it in training. It wakes the mind without caffeine. Gum creates a steady beat, a mental metronome that helps the brain stay on track. It's a tiny habit with surprising power. 12. Calm people in chaos often carry old scars. What looks like composure is usually survival learned in youth. Those who grew up in unstable or stressful environments train their nervous systems under constant fire. As adults, they appear calm when storms hit, not because they are unshaken, but because they've already weathered worse. Peace, for them, was never given. It was earned through struggle. 13. Creativity increases when you're slightly tired. Late at night, your brain's strict filters loosen. Ideas that would normally be dismissed as too weird are allowed to pass through. That's why some of the most brilliant inventions, songs, and theories began as scribbles in the dark. Fatigue isn't always failure. It can be the gate to originality. 14. A taste for dark humor signals resilience. People who laugh at life's most difficult truths aren't cruel. They're armored. Humor gives them distance from pain, a way to survive heaviness without being crushed. For them, comedy is not denial, but transformation. To laugh at the dark is to take its power away. 15. Night owls often question authority. Those awake long after midnight tend to challenge norms and resist control. The quiet hours give them space for independent thought and rebellion against rules. Many innovators and writers thrived in the night because silence let their minds run free. The darkness has always belonged to rebels. 16. Imagination rewires the brain almost like practice. When you visualize a skill, playing piano, shooting basketballs, giving a speech, the same neural pathways fire as if you were really doing it. Elite athletes rehearse victories in their minds before stepping onto the field. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagined and real rehearsal. Thought becomes training long before action. 17. People with fewer friends often seek depth over noise. They value intimacy, loyalty, and understanding more than numbers. For them, one meaningful bond outweighs 10 shallow ones. Their smaller circles are not weakness, but choice. Depth is their currency, and they spend it carefully. 18. Writing down worries before bed frees the brain. Unspoken fears loop endlessly in the mind, keeping you awake. But once written, they're contained on paper, no longer swirling inside. The act tricks the brain into releasing them for the night. Sleep comes easier when your burdens have a place to rest too. 19. Talking to strangers improves happiness. A smile at the cashier, a short chat on the bus. These tiny connections spark joy in the social brain. We underestimate how much these small exchanges matter, yet they boost mood for hours. Happiness doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it's in the passing nods of daily life. 20. Silence makes most people uncomfortable. We rush to fill it with chatter. Not because silence is empty, but because it is too full. Silence forces self-reflection, and many fear what they'll hear. That's why quiet moments in conversation feel heavy. Silence is a mirror, and not everyone wants to look into it. 21. People who swear are often more honest. Profanity bypasses the filters of politeness, letting raw truth slip through. Someone who curses in frustration is usually showing their real feelings rather than hiding behind diplomacy. Swearing can act as a badge of sincerity, a way of saying, "I'm not dressing this up, I mean it." The rough word often carries the real heart. 22. Music with lyrics distracts the mind more than instrumentals. When you study or work while listening to songs with words, your brain competes between processing the lyrics and your own thoughts. That's why many people perform better with classical, ambient, or lo-fi beats. Lyrics hijack language centers, dragging focus away. The background sound you choose shapes the sharpness of your mind. 23. Couples who laugh together stay together longer. Shared humor is more than fun. It's glue. Every inside joke is proof of a shared perspective, a signal that two people see the world the same way. Laughter builds intimacy faster than romance alone. A relationship that laughs survives storms that silence cannot. 24. High empathy can feel like physical pain. Mirror neurons fire when we see others suffer, activating the same regions as if we were hurt ourselves. That's why empathetic people flinch at injuries on screen or ache when loved ones cry. Compassion isn't just emotion, it's biology. To feel another's pain is literally to borrow their wound. 25. Daydreaming sharpens problem solving. When the mind wanders, it slips free of pressure and explores new possibilities. This mental sandbox allows creative solutions to emerge that logic might block. The sudden aha moment often comes after spacing out, not grinding harder. What looks like laziness is often quiet invention. 26. Chasing happiness makes it harder to catch. The more you hunt joy directly, the more it slips away. Happiness resists capture. It's a side effect of meaning, not a prize. People who focus on purpose, connection, and growth find happiness arriving quietly at their side. Joy is the shadow of fulfillment, not its substitute. 27. People who walk faster often live longer. Pace isn't just habit, it's vitality. A brisk stride signals strong cardiovascular health and higher energy. Studies show walking speed predicts longevity better than weight or diet alone. Life seems to stretch for those who move with purpose. 28. Memory rewrites itself each time it's recalled. The past is not a recording, it's a story retold. Each time you remember, details shift slightly, colored by your current emotions. Over years, the memory you cling to may barely resemble reality. The past is alive, constantly edited by the present. 29. Overthinking is the double-edged sword of intelligence. A sharp mind can slice problems apart, but it can also trap itself in endless spirals. The gift of analysis becomes a curse when possibilities multiply into paralysis. Smart people often suffer under the weight of their own thoughts. Their strength and struggle come from the same blade. 30. Compliments release more dopamine than money. Being recognized lights up the brain's reward circuits more quickly than financial gain. Praise satisfies a deeper need than wealth, the need for belonging and value. That's why even small acknowledgments can uplift someone for hours. Validation is a richer currency than cash. 31. Hearing your own name triggers instant attention. The sound of your name activates unique pathways in the brain's attention system. Even in a noisy crowd, you'll notice it above all other words. That's why salespeople, teachers, and leaders use names often. It pulls focus like a personal alarm. Your name is the most powerful word you'll ever hear. 32. The color blue calms the nervous system. From the sea to the sky, blue has always signaled safety. Staring at it lowers heart rate and blood pressure, creating a sense of stability. That's why hospitals and bedrooms are often painted in blue tones. Your brain reads the color as peace itself. 33. Emotion tattoos memory deeper than facts. Ordinary days fade, but moments of love, grief, or fear remain etched. The amygdala brands these experiences into long-term memory because survival depends on remembering intense feelings. That's why a breakup or a joyful wedding day feels vivid years later. Emotion is memory's ink. 34. Smiling can trick your brain into happiness. Even a forced smile activates the release of dopamine and serotonin. The brain buys what the face sells, slowly shifting mood. Sometimes joy begins as an act, and the act becomes reality. A smile is rebellion against sadness. 35. Solitude creates emotional independence. Those who enjoy being alone aren't broken. They're self-sufficient. They don't need constant validation because they can generate peace within themselves. Solitude sharpens clarity, creativity, and resilience. Being comfortable alone is a quiet superpower